Good morning, Greg Bear, your Parks and Recreation Director. I always try to be brief, and so I will be this morning, but when I went through my interview process with the mayor 2.5 years ago, I heard his vision for Parks and Recreation, and I said, I got to be here. And it's all coming true, and it's making Parks and Recreation just the wow factor in Florida. And with that, Mayor Bob Buckhorn.
All right.
Thanks.
Is this a great day or what? How long have we waited for this opportunity to announce what I think will be a transformation of a piece of property, a park that belongs to every citizen in this city that has been underutilized and really not shown the attention or given the love that it deserves. I mean, you think about where we are right now, and you think about upwards of 25 acres in the urban core, with stable single-family neighborhoods surrounding it, on the Hillsborough River, with this backdrop. And you tell me where in America is a piece of property that looks this good, that is this well positioned, that could be this much of an asset to the community and to the city, with a view of the skyline that is this impressive, and tell me you're not as excited as I am. We don't get chances to reimagine and to redesign urban landscapes like this ever again. And so it was important that we set out on this journey, that we do it right. That this park, with all of its history, with the location of Phillips Field, with the location of historic neighborhoods, that not only that be honored and that be recognized, but we take advantage of what we have here and build a park that we will be proud of for decades to come. So when we set out on this journey, we wanted to make sure of a couple things. One, that we paid homage to the history of this neighborhood. Two, that we involved the community in the decision-making process. And I can tell you in no uncertain terms that the community outreach and the community involvement and the community participation and the community ideas have been involved and have been incorporated into this like no other project that I have been involved in almost the 25 years that I have been involved in city government. We want this to be the neighborhood's park. We want their ideas incorporated. We want to make sure that they feel a sense of ownership, that they feel like this is a park that they want their kids and their grandkids to be a part of, that we recognize that this park belongs to everyone in the city, not just one neighborhood. So we needed to make sure that it encompassed the views of as many people as we possibly could. And so that outreach process, I think we involved over 300 people in coming to this decision, getting their input. Now, not everyone's going to get everything that they want. And there will be people for whom change is a scary thing. And we understand that. But this is an opportunity that is too great to pass up. This is an opportunity that will transform this piece of land to make it not only the envy of the state of Florida, but I think the envy of the nation. And we have a moral obligation to do it big, to do it right, and to make the people in this community proud of what this will become. It's a different park. It's not your typical park. It's on the waterfront. It enjoys world-class views of downtown. It has become a mecca for rowing and water sports. It will anchor the western edge of what will be a 150-acre redevelopment that will move from here all the way around to Ricks on the River and change the lives of those young children who live in North Boulevard homes and give us the opportunity to reshape and replan an entire community. If you can imagine 150 acres that throws off a total of $150,000. If you can imagine a place where I show up at 12 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon and there's been a 4-year-old child that's been shot in North Boulevard homes, don't tell me we don't need to change. Don't tell me this neighborhood doesn't deserve better. Don't tell me the low expectations that this neighborhood has had from government over years and years and years doesn't need to be invigorated and changed for the better. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do this. And so we're going to make this park a destination. We're going to make this park walkable. We're going to make this park pedestrian friendly. We're going to make this park safe. We're going to incorporate public art. We're going to incorporate a world-class boathouse that will be owned by the city and run by the city. This park will celebrate a diversity of activities as it should. There will be athletic fields. The basketball courts will be rebuilt. There will be sand volleyball. There will be a lot of water features that children can play in and that adults can relax by. This will be a place, I think, that will not only lead to the transformation of the west bank of the Hillsborough River, but for decades to come, this will be a legacy that we're going to leave to our kids and to our grandkids, and it starts today. It starts today. It's not inexpensive. I'm telling you right now, it's not inexpensive, but I think it's worth doing. And so let me introduce to you one of the team, the lead of the amazing team that we put together that helped us reimagine what this park could be. They have sat through dozens and dozens of community meetings. They've taken input from hundreds of people. I couldn't be prouder of the work product that they produced. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting opportunity for us. They have put this vision together. They have taken the hopes and the aspirations of people from West Riverfront Park to North Boulevard Homes to South Tampa and North Tampa and incorporated into some of the boards that you will see here, assuming they stay up. And what I think will be a park that all of us someday will come and sit with our feet in the water, sitting on the Hillsborough River looking at a skyline that will be radically different in 10 years and look back and say, this is where the west bank of the Hillsborough River turned the corner. So Mark, come on up and tell us a little bit about what we're going to see. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you and good morning. It's a real pleasure to be here. When Mayor Buckhorn asked us to begin this activity, he told us to go out and talk to the people of this community to find out what worked about this park, what didn't work about this park, and how we can make this park right for them. So we did that. As he said, we've talked to hundreds of people, multiple occasions, and as we've gone through the process of developing this plan, we have been able to refine it again and again based on people's feedback. So we're very proud of that and very happy to have something we think is going to work really and be very exciting for everyone. First and foremost, people told us they wanted this park to be about families and families from this community. We have done that. We're going to be bringing picnicking for families up to the river so people can sit and enjoy this view, this breeze, beautiful mornings and evenings here along this great river. Second, they asked us to improve the recreation facilities, so we're doing that. We're going to improve the basketball courts, the tennis courts, the multi-use field will actually become a full-size field for the first time. If you've gone over there, it's got a corner chopped off and it's kind of difficult to get the ball out of that corner. So we will be improving that field. We will be adding parking to make this more accessible to people. We will be adding walkways for walking, for jogging, for strolling. There will be right behind you a dramatically re-energized playground with a variety of different water facilities that are part of it, not just a splash pad, but wading, waterfall, so your kids can get really wet and you can have fun sitting watching them. First and foremost, however, people wanted to have access to the river. This park is on the river. It's one of the few that sits on the river. So what we're going to be doing, where you're standing right now, we're going to be lowering this whole area down so that you really are close to the water and building a new harbor, a kind of a cove with a floating boom so that kids can learn to paddle in this river safely, protected from wakes. We're going to have a great boathouse with a community building on top of it. So there's room for community events inside and out any time of day. The boathouse will have, as the mayor said, be a public boathouse. So there will be all kinds of boats. We're talking about kayaks, canoes, paddle boards, crew boats, and dragon boats, all within that facility with several additional slips so you can launch many boats at the same time and get out and enjoy this beautiful place. I think that pretty much a good description of what we're up to. There'll be beautiful gardens. One thing I did forget to mention is very important to this neighborhood is that we recall the history of this place, of Robert City, of Phillips Field, and the many wonderful people who helped build this town. And so there's going to be, running through the middle of the park, a promenade we're referring to as the History Walk. We hope to rename where you're standing as Phillips Field to recall the history of that great place and all the memories that are here. And I think with that, I can bring it to a close.
The next person I'd like to introduce is somebody who's been a friend of mine for a long time, since he stepped foot in here. Coincidentally, Greg from Baltimore, Maryland. Pastor James' favorite is the pastor, how many years now, Pastor? 18? 20 years of one of the most historic churches in Tampa, Florida, which is right around the corner. It's Beulah Baptist Church. Pastor Favorite is an icon in this neighborhood. His church resides in this neighborhood. His members live in this neighborhood. I could see a day when the Beulah Baptist family picnic is held right here on this field, with hundreds of congregants coming out to enjoy a park that has been re-energized and reinvigorated with so much to do for the kids and the grandparents. That will be a special day. Pastor Favorite has been involved in this community since the day he came here, and is recognized as a leader in the pastoral community. He is a very, very good friend of mine, and someone who I look up to for guidance and advice. And you know, I've attended this church so much, I should be tithing. But Pastor, come on up and give us some words.
I will accept it.
I know you will. You better check with the boss first, though.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to thank our mayor for this vision, and certainly he is correct. He has attended my church so many times. I told him that I would accept his tithing check here today. I think that what we have is the future of the city of Tampa right here. My church is, I walked from my parking lot this morning down here because that's how close we are. And my church members have used this park on a number of occasions. But I think that with all of the improvements that will be made, we will do it more often. I like this concept. I like the vision. I like the inclusion. I think so many of us have been involved in the meetings in the community, and so much input has come from our members of our churches that we feel that we are a part of this. We feel some ownership. And one of the things that we talk about in church, when we talk about ownership, usually what happens is when a member joins a church, if they do not feel ownership, they will not stay. We've got to figure out how to make them feel the ownership. You know, those who have ownership, we do a different job of protecting. And that's what we are doing here today. We are talking about a park that, and I told the mayor earlier this morning, I said, you know, the only thing that is missing is a place for me to build my house, just a few steps away from here, and I spotted this building over here. I'm going to put that in as a request. I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the inclusion of the history. So many times we forget about our history, but we need to be in a position where our history can be told over and over and over again. There are many things that have happened in this park over the years. I've only been here 20 years, but a lot of things have happened in those 20 years that I've been here. So I want to say thank you again. Congratulations. The location is perfect because it's an extension of Cypress, and Cypress is where my church is located. So you can see that if you need somebody to do something over here, I would hope that you would call us and tell us what needs to be done. And I want to say again, thank you for your vision. Thank you for this opportunity. And we are again praising you. And I want to say this, I have to say this because my wife would have been here this morning, but she had a doctor's appointment. And I'm kind of glad she did because she actually loves our mayor. And I have to make sure that I stay in between them. So God bless you. Thank all of you.
You're going to get me in trouble, Pastor.
Well, we're wrapping up. We're going to have closing remarks and then media questions. Mayor Buckhorn will come back up.
Not much I can say after that, Pastor. Thank you. I will, at this point, take any questions for either the city or for the design team. We have the boards scattered around here in case any of you want to take a closer look. We will be having a community meeting tonight to roll out the designs, largely based on the community input. And so once that is concluded, we will be moving forward as Civitas goes through the construction drawings portion of this, and I go look for the money. I'm heading for the blood bank right after this. Rick.
What would be renamed Phillips Field? Would it be that field or that?
We would, that hasn't been concluded yet, but I would imagine it would be the Great Lawn, this portion of it, which would be an appropriate. Roberts City, an old, historic, largely African-American community, was over there on the other side, and during urban renewal, like a lot of our urban neighborhoods, was decimated, and so we want to pay homage to the history of this site. Yeah.
There you mentioned the money. Was it $8 million?
No, $8 million, Mitch, is what we have put as a placeholder in the budget. If you can, and we won't know this until the construction drawings get done and we estimate the cost, but just to give you a point of reference, Curtis Dixon Park was 5 acres, and the cost of that was close to $20 million. This is 25 acres, and it won't be nearly as intense as Curtis Dixon, but it will be a significant sum of money, and we need to recognize that going into this, that we are going to spend a lot of money on this, but this is an investment that I think is worthwhile and will pay dividends for years to come, and reinvest in a neighborhood that historically has not been reinvested in. Yes, ma'am. Well, we have money in currently, close to $8 million, give or take. We'll be looking at the next 5-year increment of the CIT, which would be next year's budget. As all of you know, I'm not a guy who makes announcements and doesn't get bulldozers moving. I want to get this done before I leave, and I want to get it done sooner rather than later. So we will be looking for all kinds of combinations of financing, potentially naming rights on the boathouse, potentially other opportunities for private sector participation. But I think this is a project that is worthy of our consideration. All right, anybody else? Take a look at some of these renderings. I think you'll like it. All right, thanks everybody, appreciate it.